guess it's always best to like introduce yourself and your music, and then go from there.
Yeah, so I'm Meher, and I've been putting out music for a while now. I think since 2016, but I've really only been active since the past year. But I think I primarily make alternative music, alternative pop, but I have been trying to sort of I think I've always had like a hunch to experiment with as many genres as possible. So I think that's what I kind of that's what kind of my music that's what I aim for with my music. Yeah, I have an EP coming out in September. So it's new, but yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited to hear it when it comes out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So my first question is just, who are your biggest influences musically?
So I grew up to a lot of rock music. So I grew up to Guns N' Roses, I grew up to the Cranberries, U2, Metallica, and I think um I think because of which I do have a really husky voice, which kind of takes up in most of my songs. But my kind of my this love for songwriting came up and about because of mostly because of Taylor Swift. I'm not gonna lie there. I think ever since I was a kid, and I've been writing songs since I was 11, and that's around the same time that Taylor Swift was came up with Fearless, and since then I've been kind of influenced by her. So I think from rock to Taylor Swift to at this point, I think Phoebe Bridgers, Halsey, it's kind of all over the place. But I think, yeah, I think most of it is that. Yeah, I still think most of my songs have like an 80s, this rock kind of a thing to them because I grew up to that. But I think because of my love for like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, all those artists, it's kind of mellowed down. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it did, I promise. That's really cool.
Thank you.
To go off of that in a way, who or what really inspires you?
Who and what really inspires me? For my music, I think it's mostly just the idea of storytelling for me. I I think that I couldn't sort of find a way to. I've always had trouble kind of telling my stories out to people, like uh, whether it's to a guy I like, I want to tell him I like him. I don't. Cannot find the words until they're put out in a rhyme. And initially, it was that, and I think as you grow up, you realize there's kind of lots of parts of yourselves that need need like a specific narrative to be told. And what inspires me is that I think with this idea of storytelling, of creating a narrative, lots of people tell me that it kind of relates to a part of their life. And initially, it was like a coping mechanism for me. Once I started putting music out, what inspired me to keep doing that was when they said that when people said that it's something that they relate to or it makes them go through their day. And I think in a gist, I would say that's what kind of inspires me and helps me go on, that maybe my story could be useful to someone else, I guess.
Yeah. Um, so my next question is actually my favorite one to ask, and it's just, how does your life influence your art, and how does your art influence your life?
That's a beautiful question, actually. I mean, oh, um, how does my life influence my art and vice versa? I think So I don't like to kind of restrict myself to one art form. As you can see, like I try to paint as well. I try to create as much as possible. But I think it's kind of a struggle to kind of have different stories or different things that you go through, and you're finding a way to kind of put them on a canvas or put them in a melody, put them in a lyric, and put them in a poem. And I think every single thing that I go through, the first thing I think to my head is, okay, I don't have the words for this. So I just pick up my guitar, I'm sitting in a corner, and I'm like, I need to find what I'm feeling. I think it's definitely still a coping mechanism. And once that piece of art is done, so I think I'll give you a little example so it doesn't feel like I'm rambling. But um, so like usually when I go through something, I find a corner and I pick up my guitar and I write to figure out what it is that I'm feeling. Like what kind of emotion is it? It usually kind of helps you organize what you're feeling, at least for me. And once I have a song written or any piece of art that I've come up with, I I try to reflect on my life with it. So I don't know if it's a good idea, but I chapter phase my life with it, and I try to come up with a conclusion or um it's like an ongoing story that you make for yourself. I think it's just a way to kind of escape reality, but it works well for me. I don't know if that answered your question, but
It does. It does. I like the way that you explained it. Of it's how you tell your story. I think that's really important to like hear from someone and like yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Um, so my next question is just what are your goals within the next year?
Within next year, so I'm supposed to be releasing a single next month, which is going to be the last single I release before I release an EP, which is going to be end of September, hopefully. And when that's done, I'm kind of hoping to do a few shows, one more song of the EP. I'm thinking of doing a little music video for it by the end of November. I really structured out the next one here for me, but hoping to do a few more shows and possibly because I'm a poet as well, so I'm hoping that after like this phase of like when the EP kind of runs its course, I was hoping to release a little anthology, and if not that. I think in the next 1 year from now, I think by the end of the year, I'm also thinking that I should probably have drawn out what I'm going to do for the next EP or the album, which I already have track listed all the songs, but I still have to get to like producing them. I really think overhead, like I always already thought of 2 years from now, like all the events that I'm going to kind of plan, and it's horrible. But yeah.
That's really exciting. I can't wait to hear everything that you're coming out with.
Thank you. I really hope you like it. I'm really excited for it.
I'm sure I'll love it, honestly.
Thank you.
I have one more question, and then it's just kind of what I like to do is open it up so that we can just have an honest conversation that I feel like artists don't get to have with each other as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that last question is just kind of whatever you have in the works and anything you'd want to plug, that kind of thing.
Anything you want? Sorry, I didn't hear the last bit.
Anything that you have in the works or that you'd want to plug and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I do have. I believe. I think. I do have my next single on hold right now. I mean, it's something that I'm working on. I sent the song in for master, and I had already produced it. So, but then a part of me kind of took it back and felt like it needed more production. So that's something I'm working on, and it's acoustic. I mean, I've been singing it at a few places. I mean, I would obviously love to even sing it for you, but yeah, that's something I think I have in mind mostly now. It's in the works, even the music video for it. So yeah,
That's really exciting.
thank you. Yeah, it's called I mean, since I have no secrets about, I've usually kept my, single titles very secretive before, because I think even though, not a lot of people pay attention, but I think for me, I'm very detailed oriented. So I'm like, I always drop hints, although I feel like only one person's catching them or like two people, but I'm always kind of dropping hints. And with this one, I think I got over the whole hint thing, and I'm just like openly telling the title everywhere. But it's called Home, and it's supposed to be, if you want to know, I think it's it's this vague idea of what a home could be to you. Like for some people, a home is just their bathroom floor, or for some people, it's someone's arms, or maybe the sea, or maybe a little cottage up the hills that they like a lot. So it can be anything, and it's like this temporary space that keeps shifting. So how do you define it? And I think I had this thought for really long, and that's what I wrote this song about. That it's all those things, yeah, but it's also yourself. And how do you find that home in yourself? I think that's what the song's about, mostly.
That sounds like a really interesting story. I can't wait to like hear it lyrically too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, this is where I just like to open it up to anything that you would want to talk about or want an audience to know.
Yeah, I think now that we're, I mean, here in this interview, I'd kind of like to talk about the EP I'm kind of working on, because it's I I was struggling a little that how am I going to explain people what it's about, because I spent like 1 year kind of putting it together. But it's this, so my next single is called Home, but the entire EP kind of explores the possibility of this home. So you start with a song that starts with a homesickness for something, and it's a very kind of narcissistic ballad which says that I have a homesickness for the stars. And I think it's kind of like a way to make yourself look godly, or like, um, like godly complex. And so that's how the EP starts. And I think over the course of the 9 songs, I have 9 songs on there, but over the course of those, I think I'm trying to sort of a discover this home. So I start with a little homesickness for the stars, and it it ends to sorry, the next song's about, I mean, if I had to break it down, the first song's about this homesickness for the stars, the second one's about finding it in the wrong person because you're looking for it in people. The third one's when you see it burning down, and the fourth one's when you're climbing out of that and looking for something new. The fifth one's about finding it in the seas, the hills, whatever kind of makes you shoot up and find, like, makes you grow, I think, as an individual. And ultimately, by the last song, which is the one I'm releasing next, I think finding yourself. So it's this entire narrative that I built, and I like to kind of, I think I classified it in colors, in like 9 colors of my life, and they were all written on the same spot in my bedroom, like, and they're all a different emotion and a different color, starting from black to red, from black, red to violet and white, by the end of the spectrum. So I I think the reason I'm really excited about it is because it's really emotional to me because um it's like you're literally opening yourself up to every single person and just saying these are the colors that I can be. And it's a little vulnerable, and I think it's borderline vulnerable and also very eccentric. Like it also makes you like, oh my god, these are the colors you can be. That's such a narcissistic line to say, but it's also really vulnerable that this is how I bleed. So um I think it's the most honest I've ever been about um any record that I've done before, like any song that I've done before. But this is how I'm projecting the next record to be, because I feel like we've all looked for that, at least for the few people that I spoke. I mean, not everybody can relate to it, but like at least the few people that I spoke to, they've all told me that, they've always looked for a home somewhere. I think it's like a human tendency. I don't know if you agree with that, but yeah, to look for a home in places, and how do you find it eventually? So I think that's what that's about. I hope that made sense.
I I feel like the way you look at it, the way you explain it, because like it's your project and you like obviously you know it better than anyone. And I think the way you explain it and describe it
Thank
already
you.
tells an audience that it's going to be such a beautiful project.
Thank you so much. I mean, it really means a lot to me. I really hope so. That's all I can hope for. But I mean, I don't know how much time we on here. I would love to even sing you a little snippet of something if you want.
If you want to, yeah, because time it's all good and yeah, it's
Um, sorry.
entirely up to you though. Like no pressure. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to sing anywhere at any point. But yeah, I could sing any song off the EP, but because I'm indecisive as a person, just pick a color from the rainbow spectrum and I'll resonate it to the emotion and sing that color for you.
Okay. Blue.
Blue. Sure. I'm just gonna grab my guitar. So that's a song I've already released actually for Blue. It's called Waterfall, and I'll just get my guitar. Just a second. So for blue, blue's my favorite color.
Mine's
Oh my god, that's so cool. No, I think blue's like a great color, but this makes it so cool because if it's your favorite color as well, I don't know. What do you think of like an emotion that could come up with blue?
it's for me it's like obviously everyone tends to think sad, but
Yeah.
to some extent another thing that I always think of now is a diamond, and that's that's more so because some friends of mine, like we started a label together in the last year, and our whole symbol is a diamond, and our color is
Wow.
blue. Like to me, it almost represents teamwork and family and like all of that. So
That's so cool. I love that. I love that. No, for me also, I think the song Waterfall that I've released, it never meant like blue, like sadness, which I really love that you said that people resonated with sadness mostly. But for me, I thought, I think blue was, it meant like to find yourself. I think I completely picture it with the sea, and I feel like it's about finding yourself. So I think, I mean, if I could connect it with yours, I think it's probably mean like finding things in family, teamwork. But yeah, that's what it. That's what the song's about as well.
I'm excited.
Um, Thank you. Yeah, so I did write this song really back in 2017, so it's been a few years, but I released it last year in August. So it's it was it was supposed to be um it was supposed to start really sad, but then I think sometimes you find yourself like sitting in one spot and like in self-loathe kind of a thing, and you're like, oh god, you know what, I need to get off here. It's what am I doing? I think that was the moment I felt like I need to find myself. I need to kind of love myself. It's too much. I'm done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Waterfall's about. I'm lying here on the bathroom floor, wishing it's sinking. I'm drowning in my own thoughts. Don't ask for no help. But I'm screaming on the inside for you to come and take my hand. I was so powerful at one time, but now I'm drowning. Watch the tears fall by like a waterfall. You asked me the reason why I don't know at all. I feel so powerful in this mess I've made. I'm a hurricane, but I'm being swept away. So
I just want to say your voice is like so beautiful.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like your tone is just it's very unique, and I don't know. I love like hearing it.
Thank you. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah, this part is always it's like everything's very open, and because when I started this, I wanted to create that space.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, your voice cut out, unfortunately.
Um, hey,
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Like I wanted to create the space for as artists that we could just talk because I feel like that's not it's something we don't get enough to like have like one-on-one conversations and be open and genuine about our work.
Yeah, I'd love to know about yours as well, actually.
Um, so I've been making music for a long time. I started playing piano when I was 11, 12.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I started producing in like 2017, and I took a break. I wasn't really writing or producing, but I was in college and I'm a music minor, so I was still playing classical piano sometimes.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and then when COVID hit, I ended up getting back into it and more inspired, and
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, and so I've been writing and producing music and actually releasing it in the past year. So
That's lovely. That's great, actually.
yeah, and obviously we started up the label in the past year, which has been
Yeah,
so exciting.
that's great. Awesome.
And I always say I'm lucky to work with the people that I work with. So
I think that's one thing that, I mean, obviously COVID was horrible, and I think, but this, for us musicians, I think this alone time and so much of, I think, being at with your being with yourself. I think that kind of came up with lots of music inspiration, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it gave us a lot of time to reflect on everything and be able to write about that.
Yeah, that's so true. I think lots of introspection as well, in terms of where do you want to um go as an artist, and more as like, why are you doing what you're doing? I think that's something I answered a lot as well during lockdown.
Yeah, I definitely feel that because I feel like there were moments where it was like, well, I've always done music, like it's always felt natural. But then I don't know, I guess being kind of in that quarantine kind of thing, it was like I don't think I really want to do anything else either, unless it like relates somehow.
Relate somehow. Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's awesome that you have you started your own label as well. Um, that's great. I think for these kind of things, I'm really kind of, you know, glad that I, I mean, I also got the downtime to kind of think of, like you said, that it's something I always knew I wanted to do music, but like really of why I want to do it, and would I even want to do anything else with it. So yeah, so I'm an architecture student. Like I haven't actually studied music, which is something I don't really, say it out at first, so people don't think, oh, she's not studying music. But I study architecture, so I'm in the fourth year now, and the college stuff is hectic sometimes, because you keep getting assignments over assignments and projects. And I think because of COVID, I think, obviously it was bad, but I, I obviously the projects don't stop, but there was this free time that kind of was coming with it because everything was on Zoom. So because of the free time, I was actually able to sit for classes and think, oh God, I mean, I want to do this, but do I really just want to do this? So yeah, that's something.
Yeah, I'm actually a communications major in college, so it's
Sorry, your voice cut out.
sorry. I'm actually a communications major in college, so it's like
That's so good.
so there are times where like I have certain assignments and projects I need to do because my concentration is in film and new media. So sometimes that means, okay, I have to write a script for class and film this and film that. And it's like, okay, put music somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I think that's great, that you're balancing that as well. And I think so I struggled a lot at first, but I finally was able to, like, around the time, I was able to sit with myself and convince myself that I can do both. So it's really nice to see that, you're in that space as well.
Yeah. And I know I still need to work on my time management and balance between the two. Like I'm still figuring it out, but I know I can do it. And that's kind of,
Yeah, you can do it. I think you definitely can do it. No, it's true. It's hard to find balance between the both. I think, especially when especially when you have to meet the deadlines and you also have something, and it's not related to something that you want to do at the moment, and it seems really hard then. But I feel like balance is something that's really achievable, and I think you're doing great considering you're here on an interview with me and managing a record label. I think you're amazing.
thank you. That really means a lot to me.
No problem at all.
I mean, there's a lot that I want to do, and I'm just learning to find the time to do all of it. So,
I love that. That's literally me. I mean, I have so much that I want to do as well, but I think what works for me usually is I try to look at it step by step, um, like task by task. I think that usually works for me.
yeah. I know like when we have label meetings, we usually meet 2 or 3 times a week, and we'll take like the first hour because we'll meet in the evenings because one like my friend Jada, she has to work until 4:30, so like we'll meet at 6 every night, and that's kind of our thing. And we'll take the first hour
Yeah.
to handle like business, like what are we promoting this week? When are we posting? When are we doing photo shoots, video shoots, all of that. And then we'll take the next part to write and record and do everything else, which works.
Wow. Yeah. That's what I think. I think after a little organization, it's but like I seriously think like managing a record label is a lot harder than what I do. But no, I think with a little organization, it works really well. I think if you have, like you said, that we have meetings where we're like, what are we promoting next? What are we doing next? And that's kind of why I also have the next year of mine completely planned because I know my semester is going to start in September. So, how am I going to kind of um, work around that?
I'm kind of the same because I go back to school like the last week of August.
Yeah.
And what makes it difficult is when I'm at school, like I'm not with the label because it's here in my hometown, but I go to school in upstate New York. So I'm always like, I'm on a call sometimes, like, hey, and we just,
Would it be easier for you now that, Zoom's become so popular during this COVID thingy? Would it be better for you now, like if they do a Zoom, like you could do Zoom meets?
yeah, we also have like group chats. So we'll do like group FaceTime calls or just different things to kind of work it out. Um, there was some personal things, so we hadn't talked in a while until this summer, which it happens, it's life. But
Yeah,
now we're back together and we're working, and it's going good so far, I think.
that's great. That's great. I think, yeah, I think when, did you like did you like label the people like the team? Are you guys like, were you guys friends and you started together? What's the story behind that?
So we all met in high school in musical theater, and
Wow.
yeah, there was a time in high school where we tried to do something similar, but the timing wasn't right, really. So then last year we ended up all being at like a family event together. Like everyone's like family was friends with each other for however long, so we were all there. And
Yeah.
I and Janae came up to me and Jada and Jasmine. There's two Jasmine, so that's always fun.
Okay.
But he came up to us and he was like, "I want to start this label, and I want you guys to be a part of it." And we were like, "Yeah,
Mm.
we're down." And that was it. We started meeting up and writing, and just yeah.
That's so cool. That's great. I think it makes it better that you guys kind of knew each other, like, you were friends, and that makes teamwork a lot easier, I think.
Yeah, because Jada's like one of my best friends, and she has been for years. So like all of us together, we work really well. We bounce off of each other really well, which is I'm always amazed to see it when we're like working on different songs for different people, for each other. And it's just, yeah, it's great.
That's great. I think it's the best if you have like one of your best friends kind of doing the same thing as you, or like, you know, um, it's always like an extra help if your best friend's around. I always think that.
Yeah, because, and then my other best friend from college, she actually is an artist and does graphic design. So she helps a lot with like album covers and different things like that. So,
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. You've got someone doing graphic design for album covers and you're writing and you're managing. I think that's great.
it's
So
very,
do you guys like sign? Sorry?
I was just going to say it's very rewarding and fun.
Yeah, it is definitely. I was gonna ask how, like, have you guys signed artists yet? How many have you signed?
We haven't because we're still like, we're very small. We're still learning and figuring a lot of things out. Like we're starting to look into getting an LLC. That's a big thing right now for us. But there's an artist that's interested, um, and we're just trying to figure out the best way to go about like kind of interviewing and seeing like, if he is a good fit for us and vice versa. Just because we
Yeah.
already have like this kind of bond set in place, and it's like when we do start expanding, what are the best ways to go about that?
Yeah. I love the way you guys are like, you think through your whatever you're deciding to do. Like, like you've said it like twice now, we're gonna sit through and kind of like, discuss it before. I mean, obviously you have to discuss before you sign, but like kind of seeing if that artist is going to be a fit for your label or not and get along as well because you guys have that kind of harmony between yourselves. I think that's great.
It's something we had to sit down and talk about how do we go about this because we were like this is the first time someone has been interested in joining outside of us. So,
Mm.
and we came to the conclusion if someone is brought into the label, it has to be unanimous. Like everyone has to agree on it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense because I think usually with that's why I said it's great that you do it with your friends because when a business kind of gets evolved, lots of fights come about. And if you're with your friends, if you're deciding through each step, it just gets easier to kind of negotiate between things and, finding coming up with a collective decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm so excited for where it goes and, you know, what all you guys come up with. It's great.
Yeah, me too. We have so much planned for the next few weeks that it's really exciting to think about.
Wow, that's great. What's your vision of like the label in the 1 year?
Definitely just kind of growing and getting like more of a following, I feel like, and just having some like ways to promote ourselves as artists. And I'm definitely seeing a lot more collabs between all of us. Like there's already 4 or 5 that are in the works like right now, which is exciting.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, just having that and building more connections for us, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be great. And yeah, I think with labels, all you have to do is kind of find connection. I think even as an artist, it's so important to make connections. And I mean, I've been an introvert for like the longest time. So for me, it's just like, oh my God, you have to go out and socialize. And but it's really the key. I think that's how you get yourself out there.
Yeah, I I know like at my school there's an artist management company that I decided to kind of join and like not necessarily manage anyone right now, but to learn, observe, and it worked out that they were willing to do a partnership with the label, with my label here. So that kind of, or going into the next semester, I'm sure there'll be lots of moments to cross promote, and that's always going to be fun.
Yeah. And artist management's great for your label. I think you need it anyway. So I think that's great for socializing as well. I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, I know the pain of it's like this year that I've like finally started to like get out of that shell and socialize, meet new people, join servers. That's something I was so like I've been so bad with like social media technology. Like my sister makes a lot of fun of me because of that because I don't know how to get people to kind of um listen to my stuff. I was struggling with it for so long and I think Discord was something that kind of helped me because it's more of like a it's less of Instagram. I find Instagram really hard. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and I think this year is the one that I've probably also realized that it's so important to socialize because I mean, it's how I found you as well, but um, that's how you kind of it's great to get yourself out there, but it's also great to it's always interesting to kind of meet new people and listen to their story. Always.
Yeah, I I totally agree. I feel like the artists that I've met in the past year, like mostly through Zoom calls, of course, but kind of seeing them grow and also just being able to hear like more music from newer artists. Like that's something I'm always trying to do more. It's just I feel like this year has really been the opportunity for that and to find more collaborators too.
Yeah, that's true. It's really I think especially for you, like, it'd be nice that like I want an interview with you now, but like a year for even I think lives change in a few days. So like even 2 months from now, where where are both of our lives gonna be? I think you're right. I think it's just interesting to see how you grow from a song to a record or to from like a label that's right now with itself to having a few artists. I think it's great to see that transition.
Yeah, and it's just I feel like there's so many talented artists and people, managers, videographers, and without I hate to say this, but without COVID, like I don't think I would have been as aware of those people.
That's so true. I completely agree with you. I think that's also because we've been so kind of accustomed or kind of just following that life that we have and like where everything's for some people it's been a 9 to 5, for some people it's been like in that set pattern and and when COVID came, unfortunately, and like fortunately it broke a pattern and that's what was different and of people. Obviously it's bad, because a lot of people got affected, but on the other hand it really just broke a pattern and got us to kind of look at a life that's um beyond our comfort zone.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well, and I think yeah, I think that's I mean, hopefully it's over though now because I think I've learned my lesson of breaking my pattern. But I really want to. It'd be nice to kind of go out there again and do gigs again. I think that's something I miss. I mean, I obviously wouldn't have met a lot of artists. I wouldn't have been able to if it wouldn't have happened. But I also think that I really want to go out there and do some gigs. I miss live shows so much.
I I personally like I've never really done a performance, but I miss seeing like actual performances and being in person for those.
Yeah, it's always fun. I think there's this I think the only thing that I feel is there in like a live performance and it isn't there through Zoom is that you can really have like a connection with your audience and back. I think you can really get to know which song they like and what's really happening. I mean, I love Zoom performances as well and Google Meet performances as well, but some performances people don't even turn their cameras on. So like I don't really know if you're liking what I'm playing, what would you like? And I think that human connections probably only there um in a live performance. Yeah.
Um, if there's anything else you want to talk about, feel free. If
Um
okay, I always like to put this out there at some point. Like if not, it's okay. Like, you know, yeah.
yeah, I think I've pretty much talked a lot. At some point I think I was thinking, "Oh my God, I hope I'm not rambling and too much."
No, no, not at all.
No, I think it's been so nice meeting you. And I think I really liked getting to know you and your label as well. I think that I'm so excited for what comes for you and to see you grow and it's been lovely. I think you know what I think is that most of the times, you're cooking these things in your head, and like I explained you the colors for my record, and you have all these things in your head, but they're only ideas in your head that nobody would really, you wouldn't tell anyone unless they ask you, right? I wouldn't normally go out and blurt, "Hi, I have a record coming with 9 emotions, 9 colors." I would look psychotic, but you know it's so nice that you're doing this, that you're asking people about their story and what lies ahead, because although I'm unsure what lies ahead, it's really interesting to see how would it be from 2 months from now if I meet you again, or if we just speak on call, like whatever it is. um See how it goes for the both of us. So it's been lovely and I'm so honored to be here.
I'm I'm honored that you wanted to be a part of it. Like that means the world to me personally. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And another thing is, I do want to try to do check-ins with the artists I've interviewed in a few months. So if you'd be interested in doing a second interview, yeah.
I'd love to. I think I would absolutely love to. It would be amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. And I'm excited to hear everything you're coming out with and see how you grow in your journey.
Thank you so much. I will definitely share it with you. And I'm so excited to know what happens in your life, I think, in terms of labeling your own music.
I will be sure to share it, of course.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, have a great rest of your day. And yeah.
Thank you to you as well. I hope you have a lovely day and an even better few months until we meet next.